Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginners League from Australia's Mount Panorama, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's final round coverage of the Formula Neagle Season 22 Championship. Annie M, there's no place like home. It was beauty killed the beast. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Great closing lines all. But for the current rendition of Formula Neagle, the final word has yet to be written, but the man at the typewriter is defending season champ and current point leader Lee Anderson. Anderson enters the final chapter of this season with a comfortable 28 marker advantage in the driver's standings. And while only a few carriage returns away from claiming the second consecutive title, this is no whiteout series. And one typo could ruin Anderson's rosebud. And the man waiting in the wings for that last-minute plot twist, waiting for his Bruce Willis was dead for the whole time moment, is David Burns. While Anderson has dominated the season, Burns has stayed consistent enough to keep Anderson from clinching the title before the final act. So clack the clacker, action, and watch the final round of Skippy drama play out live as it happens here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good day, mates, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye View. JJ Clark alongside yours truly, Bill Soups On. Sean Ambrose has director duties with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. It was 9 seasons ago, over 2.5 calendar years since Formula Neagle last visited Mount Panorama. The victor that day, the Portuguese phenom Diogo Francisco, who finished just ahead of David Burns. Posting a quiet 8th was a rookie making only his 3rd career start, one Just Junk. It took 18 more races before Junk could earn his first win, which he did last round at Spa. But Belgium was last round. Today, we is down under, baby. And what better way to focus on the task at hand than to take a video look at today's racing venue here at Bathurst.
Welcome to Mount Panorama Circuit. Most drivers simply refer to this place as Bathurst, with it being located just to the southwest of the city's major hub. But most ominously, and perhaps appropriately, it's been nicknamed the Mountain. With more than 500 feet of elevation change over the course of a lap, it's easy to understand why. Though originally built for racing, it's become a street circuit over time, with the track itself used for regular traffic and featuring residential housing all along the roads. This makes this 4-mile, 23-turn course incredibly unique in the world of racing. In the past, the track has hosted a variety of types of cars, including open-wheelers. But modern safety standards means that most competitive racing has now been limited to sports cars and touring cars. However, the dangers are very real due to the incredibly high speeds and lack of runoff throughout much of the circuit. The quickest parts are the run up the mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend, and then the flat-out blast back down the Conrad Straight and into the chase. This chicane was added in the late 80s to break up the run down to Murray's Corner. But while most chicanes are derided for ruining the character of a track, the terrifying speed as you approach it and the general difficulty make it fit right in with Bathurst challenges. However, the toughest portions are undoubtedly along the mountain itself, with notorious corners like the Cutting, Brock's Skyline, the Dipper, and Forest's Elbow. In fact, one of the more unique worries of this course is that all of these parts are so narrow that track blockages due to wrecks are not uncommon in the first few laps. The Australian fans often line the fences and hillsides to witness the daredevil spectacle of drivers trying to claim King of the Mountain. You can't blame them with how rare of a sight a track like Bathurst is today.
The thin ribbon of concrete-lined asphalt that runs up and down Mount Panorama. GJ, if I were going to a track where I needed to finish, this would be my last choice. This is a tough one.
It very much is soup, and from about turn 2, Griffith's Bend, all the way up through Forest Elbow, up and down the hill, the walls are right there and closing in on you. And as a result, in these skippies, there is no room to pass, but don't worry, like the last 2 tracks we've been to, whether it be the Nürburgring or Spa, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to take advantage of that draft. Coming off the first corner, hell, all the way up to Griffith's Bend, that mountain straight between 1 and 2, that's going to be a great opportunity. And then, of course, the big, long straight that we've got all the way down on the Conrad Straight to the Chase, that's going to be a really good opportunity as well. So you got to get through the tricky technical section there in Sector 2. But outside of that, I think we're going to see some really, really good drafting action like we've seen the past couple of weeks from these guys.
Should be a good one. Let's take a quick look at the points. Now, full disclosure, with just about 6 minutes before the gridding of the cars, we are yet to see Lee Anderson or David Third Degree Burns. So as I go through these points, take that into account, a little grain of salt here. Now, Lee Anderson has 4 wins, and he's 28 points up. He has a cushion of 28 points on Burns. So the most a driver could possibly score if he gets all the bonus points is 30. So in theory, if Burns were to show up, he could catch Anderson. All Anderson would need to do to clinch the championship would be to earn those 3 bonus points for qualifying within the top 3. Again, neither one of those drivers are here, so we may have a champion as we go to the grid. We look at the furthest down the list. You have Just Junk. We talked about him in his 28 races. He won his first victory. Took him 2.5 years to get it done. 28 races spread out over that time, but congratulations as he picked up the win at Spa. There's the top rookie, Rhys Saunders, down there in 4th. He is quick. He could be a threat, and he is here today with Eric Lukel sitting in 5th. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships now as we bring those up. Again, not a whole lot of drama here. It is 2 stupid dogs. They are a favorite cartoon of David Burns and Vincent Bream, and those guys have been dominating the team championship for many a season. You can see the rest of the 4 teams that fill out the graphic. There is one more championship that might be more interesting. DJ's going to talk about that one right now.
Yeah, Soup, this is the F2 championship, the championship for drivers under 2,300 I rating. In that, as you said, a lot closer. Eric Leukel currently leading with 65 points. Bocek Podacek, series organizer, 16 back of him. Christopher Crook, a measly point back of Podacek. John Torpy and Luis Rodriguez Luan rounding all of that out. So a lot of room here to play. Theoretically, anybody in this top 5 could come in and take it away with a high enough position. But I think realistically, you're going to be watching the battle between Leukel, Podacek, and Crook for that first place.
A lot of disclaimers coming here and corrections for the commentators. I mentioned that Rhys Saunders is here. So far, he is not here. I thought I saw him in, but no. So it's a good opportunity for some of the drivers that we don't usually get to see. Maybe some guys get to run up front that usually don't get to be there. Of course, the Junkyard Dog is here, and he's going to be good. Of course, Just Junk. We talked about it a little bit in the opening. Man, oh man, Skippy's here. Some cars, you put the car combination together here, DJ. Some cars, at least you can bang off the wall a little bit. These open wheelers, oh man, these Skippies aren't friendly with concrete.
No, they're really not, and especially with the new damage model that iRacing has implemented, it's going to be very, very tricky. But we look at the race details here on screen. Just to run you through one last time, this is the final round of our Formula Neagle Championship. We are racing those Skippies. It is a 40-minute race. Open setup, so drivers are able to tweak the cars to their liking, but a 51% fuel limit, which means that you are going to have to come into the pits at some point to get a new tank of fuel. The catch with that is with such a long track like Bathurst, I would not be surprised if we see everybody coming in around the same lap. We may see 1 or 2 laps difference, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of varying fuel strategy today.
A little coincidence today that all 3 associated with the GSRC broadcast team, both the commentators and our director, are living in California right now where it is wintertime, but down under it's summer. Let's take a look at the weather. See what iRacing has dealt up for the drivers here today, GJ.
Well, it's about that 19 degrees Celsius, 25 degree track temp. That's going to be nice and cool. Everything's going to stay together pretty well and nice. Not a whole lot of Wind coming through 7 degrees. That's going to be a little bit tricky when you get to the top of the hill. May blow you off a little bit, but nothing major to deal with. And humidity pretty much negligible. Not going to be too much of a factor for these guys today.
Again, in Celsius, which means nothing to me. So 25 degrees. That's comfortable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's about it's a nice little way there. I don't have the math up in my head,
okay,
unfortunately, because I can't do it as well.
My wife was in the hospital, and she was on telemetry, and I was so alarmed because her body temperature was like 12 Celsius. I don't know what it was. Maybe 400 Celsius, whatever it was. It was alarming. It was not the 98.6 I was hoping for. So I learned quickly, though. Let's get back to business here. Smaller field here today for our season finale. Qualifying going on right now. And there's the old veteran, Ricard Allard, sitting at the top of the chart. He stepped away for several seasons. Good to see him back, the Canadian.
Yeah, and he's been having a good couple of runs the past 2 races that we've seen him in. So him being at the top of the charts there, always good to see. Watching Christopher Giros work his way down the hill here. Eric Lundberg coming through that famous chase, or excuse me, no, that's actually coming through Murray's corner onto the main straight, seeing if he can better his time. Looking like he's not going to do it on this lap, but he's got about 1 more lap to get a time in. The overall time to do this, about 2.5 minutes to get around this Mount Panorama track.
Page 17 on the GSRC's commentator handbook says, don't correct yourself. Apparently I didn't read that. I got to do it one more time. Allard is not from Canada or Canada. Holy moly soup. He is from Scandinavia, so Canada. Lord help me. It's the final race of the season, folks. Don't worry. You won't have maybe not put up with me next season.
We watch here more guys coming across the line here. That's Edgar Santinelli not able to get in a good time there. Neil Bamber puts in his first time. That'll put him 8th. Here comes Mackenzie Mann across the line, getting on just onto those rumble strips. See if he can improve on his previous time. Oh, misses out by 0.03 of a second.
One of the interesting things about this track that is have our start is going to be a standing start. They all line up, and then they have a sudden left-hand turn. It's really bizarre. You get right to hell corner there. That's the first corner. It's the 90-degree left-hander. And then you get on the long straight. It always feels like the start-finish line would be better served to put it just around the other end of that first corner. But that's not how they do it here. It's Australia.
Yeah, you'd kind of want him to take a leaf out of IndyCar's book at Mid-Ohio and put the start-finish after the keyhole on the back straight. But no, we have that immediate left-hand turn. Always makes for a little bit of kerfuffle. Tires not warmed up and not everything working properly. So always something interesting to see, but always an opportunity to be able to get a few places if you catch somebody napping off the start. So interesting to see what happens as we watch here Eric Lundberg and last time's out winner Just Junk making their way down the Conrad straight towards that chase corner, that quick right to left-hander.
18 drivers able to put in qualifying times. 3 have not. Wojciech Potacek, Kevin Mills, and Tom Deck. It's going to be a little bit extended qualifying as they'll let the drivers finish their hot lap, as this is open qualifying. So when the checker flag waves, they'll let everyone come across. Give us an opportunity to talk about, DJ, this is a draft track, kind of. I mean, certainly there's a lot of room to draft on both the straightaways. But going up and down the mountain, if you're quick enough, you might be able to pull away from the guys that are on your coattails.
You certainly can, and obviously these skippies, it's not like you're running a super high downforce setup where you've got to worry about a lot of aero wash, so you're going to be able to stick relatively close or pull away depending on how good you are through that section. Yeah, that's but coming through about turn 3, the cutting all the way through Forest Elbow, that's really where it comes down to just driver skill, driver talent, seeing what you can make happen through there. It's really a test of courage for these drivers, as the walls are so close, and any error whatsoever will not only send you into the wall, but as we've seen time and time again, if anybody's checked out any of the Twitch clips from iRacing on this track, it's very easy to get a massive pile up through that mountain section.
Forest Elbow is that final left-hand corner that leads on to the back straight. And boy, if you get that one wrong, And these underpowered skippies, you pay for it for a long, long time, because that is a long, long straight between Forest Elbow down to 21, which is the chase, a little chicane down there. Qualifying just about wrapped up. Glad you're with us here. Season finale, season 22. Follow up on our championship story. It looks like neither one of the championship contenders are here. So in just a few seconds, when I go to the grid, we'll be able to start by announcing our season 22 champion is indeed Lee Anderson.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing not to see Anderson or Burns here, but at the same time, I think between Allard, Lukel, Yonk, Bream, we've seen a lot of these guys have some good runs earlier in the season, just not able to catch up to those two who have really broken away in what seems to be race after race. So we're going to have a really fun race here, I think, tonight, or this morning, rather.
Yeah, you almost figured that Anderson and Burns maybe got together and said, you know what, let's spend a little time with the family here coming up this weekend, since it's going to be a hard ask for us to get the championship. And honestly, I think Anderson probably would have had it wrapped up after qualifying with those bonus points. All right, I think qualifying is just about done. So, Director, why don't we can take our time going through the grid right now. We have 18. It's a small grid, and we'll get to it. We can take our time. Give us a little time to talk about some of the drivers. Sitting on the front row, not from Canada, from Scandinavia. That's Ricard Allard, returning back to the series, first time in a long time. The Junkyard Dog, Yush Junk, outside of him on row 1. DJ, why don't you take row 2?
Well, row 2 is going to be made up of Eric Lukel and Vincent Bream. Lukel, who obviously had that amazing run at the Nürburgring, wasn't as much of a factor last time out, but I think there's a lot of similarity between those two tracks, so watch for Lukel during this race. He's going to be one to keep an eye on.
Ryan Walker, who is continually getting faster and faster, has a real opportunity to pick up a win. He sits in now 5th position. He's going to be inside of Timothy Nylander.
Row 4 is going to be made up of Neil Bamber and the Trident himself, Frederick Neptune, in 8th.
In 9th position, going to try to seal a few spots up, is Christopher Crook. Eric Lundberg sits in 10th.
Starting off today in P11 is going to be Christopher Giros, followed by Patrick Bennett in 12th.
The Baker's Dozen position is Kai Allstock. Fan favorite Edgar Sanchinelli sitting in 14th. Let's see if he can get himself a top 10 today.
Matt Tempest putting in about a 234 dead is going to start off in 15th, followed by Scott Angelo in 16th.
Mackenzie Mann in 17th. He's going to be flanked by Ludwig Sauer.
And rounding out the field here, Tom Depke in 19th did not put in a time, as did Wojciech Podacek in 20th.
And also Kevin Mills down there as well. Kevin is going to grid up. Let's see if those other two drivers are not. I don't see them on the grid. We'll see how many we get here. And we can go ahead and announce that the season 22 champion is indeed Lee Anderson. Congratulations to him as he goes back to back season 21 and season 22. Drivers taking the grid now. Glad that you are with us. 40 minutes of racing on tap. One pit stop. And an opportunity for a lot of drivers to get a career best.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, Soup, very short run down to hell, that first corner. That can be really, really tight. That tight left-hand 90-degree corner, it can get a little bit squirrely, so have to see if there's any sort of schmozzle that happens specifically back in the field. I think Allard, Yonk, and Luke will be able to get away nice and easy, but we could see a little bit of mishaps in the middle of the grid.
You also see some excitement down into corner number 2. A lot of time the driver's appetite is bigger than their brake foot, and stuff can happen early on, that first chance down there, because there's a lot of momentum from the draft from drivers making a run, so we'll see how that plays out as well. You can hear the little Skippy engine start to harmonize. You know what to do. Gather up the chickens, take curry on the cows. The horses are out of the barn. And it is Ricard Allard leading the stampede to hell. They head down into the first corner. They get that sorted out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're all going to make it through. Congratulations. And now on to the front straight.
Everybody proving me wrong, but right off the bat, Just Junk says, I will take over that first place, and Eric Lukal looks like he's having a little fun as well. Both of them trying to get past Ricard Allard here. I think Lukal might just have it done as they line up here, getting ready for Griffiths Bend, that second corner.
We talked about it. Everyone makes it through there, and we go back through the rest of the field. They all make it as well. Congratulations. And now, here comes their first trip up the mountain.
Vincent Brem getting a little bit out of line there, but able to gather it back together as they start to work their way up the mountain here. These series of corners just so tight. You can see how close those barriers are. No room for error for any of these guys, but this field doing a great job to keep it nice and clean on this first lap.
Just Junk qualified in second now with visions of grandeur of maybe leaving the field behind as he works his way up to the apex of the hill, heading into the S's. He's having no such luck leaving behind. Allard sticking with him. Lukal in third, Bream in fourth, and Ryan Walker in fifth. And there's a bit of a gap back to the back half of the top 10.
Yeah, they're really starting to pull away a gap of about 2 seconds back from Walker down to Christopher Crook, a little over 2 seconds rather, as they start to move their way down the hill. This is where the second part of that lap's going to come in. This is where the drafting really will start to kick in.
And Frederick Neptune has had an incident. I believe Edgar Sanchinelli caught up in some trouble as well. We'll take a look at that later on when the action allows. Meanwhile, there has been a pass for the lead. No surprise that Allard is spinning. Allard lost it from the front. Right in front of Just Junk. He got the pass made going into the chase. The car got loose and he lost it. I don't think he hit anything. We're going to look at that one right now.
As you can see it here, we're pulling up the GSRC replay. You can watch it right into the chase, just over-rotates the car, catches a little bit too much curve, gets into a big power slide there, keeps it off the wall, everything nice and easy, but big heads up there from Just Junk to be able to stay off of the loud pedal just enough to let Allard go by and not get into the back of him.
So now that front pack is down to 4. Remember, Allard is your pole sitter. Let me give you the qualifying time. He put in a 2:31.3. That compares, no, that's Young's. Oh, let me apologize here. A 2:38. That's about a half second faster than what Young was be able to put in. DJ, in theory, there's maybe enough time for him to run up and catch those guys if he can run hot laps for 40 minutes.
He's certainly got a chance, but what he's going to run into a problem here is, I mentioned it earlier, that gap in between Ryan Walker and Neil Bamber back to 5th is about 3.5 to 4 seconds right now. So he's going to have to figure out a way to play leapfrog with somebody to keep using the draft, because if he's running in open air, he's not going to be able to catch up as quickly as he'd like to. But as we were talking through all of that, you can see on your screen there, Eric Lukal able to make the pass on Just Junk into Griffiths Bend. So put Lukal back up into the first place. Junk, Brem, and Walker, though, that's the top 4 in this leading pack.
Fill up the beer steins in Germany. Your driver is out in front as he leads the Junkyard Dog. Vincent Bream able to hang in there in third position, and Ryan Walker, we talked about how he's getting faster. This is one of his best performances of his career. He has visions of a podium, maybe even the win. It is 3.4 seconds back to former champion Neil Bamber, who races in 5th. Let's drop back and look at that battle. Director, 5th position. This is Bamber with Christopher Crook chasing him. And then about just a touch under 3 seconds back is Allard.
Yeah, Allard kind of running in his own little space there. There's a gap of a good amount of time in between there. It takes about a second back to be able to really take full advantage of the draft in these skippies, so Allard's going to have to push really hard to get up there. Not out of the question to catch up to Bamber here in the next couple of laps, but it's going to be tricky. I
can report that Matt Tempest had a spin. He was racing in 15th position at the time, happened right in front of Edgar Sanchinelli. Sanchinelli did a good job. He had to park the car to get around him. but they're still running. A little farther back, we look at this battle with Allstott. Side by side. Now here's under attack from Scott Angelo. Angelo and the blue car on the inside. He gets it done.
Ooh, I thought for a second there Sancinelli was going to, or excuse me, not Sancinelli, Alpstead was going to try to do an over-under there, but good heads-up play there. We're going to jump back up to the leaders as Just Junk says, I will have that position back, does exactly what Lucal did to him on the previous lap, gets him going into Griffiths Bend as they charge up the hill. Behind him, Bremen Walker staying in single file order, just being nice and calm, being in that popcorn position like we like to talk about, just watching these leaders battle in front of them.
Ricard Allard about 8 seconds behind the leaders. You know, you got to figure that Junk and Lucal are no dummies. They know that they can't slow each other down. They'd like to speed each other up as possible and keep this a 4-car battle and not let Allard not only bring himself, but maybe some of the other drivers as well up to the front.
Yeah, Soup, and we're going to jump back here really quick to that battle with Christopher Giros right behind Ricard Allard. This is Giros, Bennett, and Angelo, this 3-car battle as they fight their way up the hill, keeping everything nice inside. That looks like Angelo thinking about the inside, but having a little bit better faith on it.
I think the hungriest driver back there is car number 12, the blue car of Angelo's. He's peeking through. Boy, look at them snake their way between the concrete walls. One little mistake and your race is over. There are fast repairs, but any chance of a good finish will disappear with that. Garros has a miss up there, and now this becomes a 4-car battle as they start to run down car number 36.
Yeah, this is really starting to fall into line here. We're seeing all of these packs develop there. You can see just flashing by your screen, that is Ricard Allard running in a race on his own. And you hit the nail on the head, Soup. Coming up through that hill, if you even brush the wall in these skippies, you have a potential to really mess up the suspension as they come down here, getting ready for that corner. Is anybody going to make a pass? Yes, it is. That's Scott Angelo to the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Nope. He's going to back off just a little bit. Discretion, the better part of valor, but that's going to allow Kai Alpstead to be thinking about maybe making a move on the start-finish straight.
We'll stay on this battle. It is the most exciting battle on the track. Some of the other battles have broken up now into 2-car tandems, so we'll check in on those in a minute. Let's stay on this one as we're going to see some more action coming up now, I think, from these guys.
Yeah, and watching them come through that last corner, Murray's corner, it's really remarkable the speed Scott Angelo is able to carry through there. You're able to see him pull a gap away from Kai Alpstead and really pull up to the back of Patrick Bennett, so he's got something working through that last sector.
Don't need to go there, but I can just tell you that Allard was not able to close the gap. He's out there racing by himself, and I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to do it. Let's look at the pass for 8th position right now. This is Garros under attack from Bennett. Patrick Bennett makes the move. He gets that done, going into Griffiths Bend.
That really looks like it is the primo passing opportunity as there goes Scott Angelo on Christopher Giros. Oh my goodness gracious, coming up the hill. That is a gutsy move from the Floridian.
Oh my goodness, there's a little bit of Takumo Sato in that driver. He is fun to watch, man. He takes no prisoners, and now he is under attack from Garros. As they go up the hill, let's leave this battle. Let's check back in on front so we can tell you the story that's going on up there. It's now turned into a 2-car battle. Junk and Lucal. There is just about a second back to Brem. Brem's really got to get on his pony if he wants to get up to the front too. Walker doing his very best to hang with those guys as well, but he begins to spread out a bit.
Yeah, really starting to spread out, specifically through that tight and twisting mountain section. As we talked about, that's really the area that separates some of the most excellent drivers. I think here at this point, Junk's going to have just enough of an advantage not to be pulled in too much by Eric Local. He'll be able to hold it down on this lap. But Local very much just keeping an eye on everything. He's not letting Junk get too far away from him. He knows that he'll have an opportunity later in the race. He just needs to stay within about, I would say, a second to 0.7 of a second to really be able to take advantage of that draft.
Let's jump you back to 10th position. This is where the excitement is. Christopher Garros under attack from Key Allstott. Is not going to happen there as they head down into the chase. That 4-car battle DJ, like the front battle begin. Oh, a mistake up front from Bennett. We might want to get a replay. Bennett's off in the grass, sliding like a trombone on a toboggan. He gets it saved, brings it back out.
We're going to watch the replay here. I think this is an incident very similar to what we saw from Ricard Allard. Just comes into that bend there, gets a little over-rotated. He's able to catch the car, actually uses the grapple to his advantage to stop that slide. He's able to continue on, but that's going to cost him back a couple of positions and move Scott Angela decisively up into 8th.
As we come back live, let's look at car number 45 in 5th position. This is Neil Bamber. Christopher Crook behind him, but the guy making the move. He gets 1, he gets 2. That is Ricard Allard. I told you to watch out for him. And now he's got some friends to race with. Maybe he can team up with former champion Bamber, and they can maybe run down the leader. It's a tall order, but who knows?
That's a very tall order. They are about 7 to 8 seconds back of that leading quadruplet of Walker, Brim, Local, and Yonk. But Ricard Allard already showing that he's got the speed and the feel for this track, so nothing's out of the realm of possibility for him as they make their way up through the hill right now.
Big piece of strategy will be the pit stop. You burn more fuel if you're leading. You can save a lot if you're following somebody. The guy that I've seen following somebody the entire race so far is Ryan Walker in 4th position. Maybe it's based on speed. Maybe it's just him being coy and doing some strategy here. But I would expect him to have a pretty good pit stop coming in, as he's been in the draft the entire first 13 minutes of this race.
Yeah, he's been sticking in behind and just kind of letting it go. He's not really looking like he's overdriving the car, putting too many inputs into it. So I think he's relatively happy here to just stay behind Bream, not push too hard and let things happen. But up in front of them, Soup, we've got a pass for the lead as Lucal goes by Yonk going into Griffiths Bend. Or the chase, rather.
There we go. Gets that done, and they'll be heading to the final corner. We've been jumping around a little bit, so let's stay on this for a while. Coming up, the 90-degree left-hander. Lucal turns on his turn indicator. Click, 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 and he goes through. Now he turns it off. Yonk right behind him. They go across the finish line. One more time with the indicator. Click, click, click as they do the 90-degree turn here. That is hell.
That's watching Lucal coming, or watching Yonk rather, coming in behind there. On the last couple laps, he's been pushing really hard into that last corner, almost running onto the dirt at the end of the rumble strips, as now he pokes his head out to the inside, wanting to get back into the lead. So it looks like he was taking a little less of an aggressive path through there, just trying to line himself better up for hell and for the run onto this straight, and clearly it worked out as Yonk makes the pass back for the lead.
Now that just goes to show you, when we were talking about what Walker is doing, Yonk makes that pass. Walker is behind Bream. He could have easily have gone around Bream if he wanted to, but he didn't. He's happy in 4th position. I think he knows that there's a pit stop to be made. He can start to play a little harder after that's done.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's doing. We've seen a lot of guys do that over the course of this season, just kind of wait back, save some fuel. Obviously, it's not necessarily even an issue of running an extra lap on that tank. It's more about having to put less fuel in the tank when you come in for your pit stop, and as a result, you're stationary for less time. And so that could be what he's doing. They crest over the hill here. Your leaders, that's Yonk and Local, pulling away. They've got about a 1.8 second gap back to Vincent Bream, so really starting to pull away as this is becoming a two couplets here racing for the lead.
It is indeed. It's like a dance party. So you have Yonk and Lucal together. You have Bream and Walker racing as a tandem. Then you have Allard and Bamber trying his very best to hang on there. Let's go back to Allard in 5th position right now as he begins to open it up on Bamber. Bambi not able to hang on. Let's see if Neil can get a run. Car number 45. I think he's lost the draft from Allard. Bamber qualified in 7th position. It's going to be a hard order for him to stay with the pole sitter now. That's also good and bad, though, for Allard, because now he doesn't have a dancing partner.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to want to be able to take advantage of that slipstream, but at the same time, just the clear track and being able to be out in front is nice to see. Going down that straightaway, Bamber was about 1.1 seconds back, and that's just outside the draft range. The lower speed, not punching a big enough hole through the air really to take advantage of it. And obviously, as we've talked about, there's not a lot of downforce on these cars to really create that big slipstream of dirty air. But that's a Lard coming into the pits. That's a bit early, a little surprising, but it's a gutsy play here from the Scandinavian.
Probably at the very front of the window. Might be thinking, but he's in desperate situations, calls for desperate measures. He may not know what's going to happen, but sometimes you just try something different. Who knows how it's going to play out? Let's go up front. We might have a pass for the lead. This is Lucal stalking. Not going to do it. I think Eric will probably follow Just up the mountain now.
Yeah, pretty much once you get through that second turn on Griffiths Bend, you're not going to be trying to do a whole lot of passing. That's a one-way ticket into the wall if you really try to send one up the inside of somebody. You just kind of have to follow and be patient up through here. Maybe try to force the guy in front of you into a little bit of a mistake. But you're not going to be looking at trying to make a pass when you get climbing up the mountain. Those walls are just way too close, and there's truthfully not enough heavy braking through there.
Pole sitter Ricardo Lard is back out on track. He files out in 9th position. Clear track ahead of him, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Let's drop back to 7th position. Here's a nice little battle between Patrick Bennett and Ludic Sauer. Sauer in the sky-colored car there, chasing Bennett. Bennett with the dark blue-yellow stripes.
Yeah, you see him here working up. That's one of the best viewing mounts if you're ever actually able to go to Mount Panorama. Right up there, you can see those cars just absolutely blast by you over that skyline corner. Woo! Getting a little bit squirrely there is Bennett. That's a lot of fun. Very, very lucky he didn't lose it through there. But they're keeping everything nice and tidy together. Locks up that left rear tire. That's going to bring Sauer even closer. Soup, I definitely think Sauer's just kind of waiting, loving the pressure he is putting onto Bennett. Look for the pass to be made on that long Conrad straight.
Talked about Mount Panorama. When my wife was on a business trip, we gave her a iRacing account. She wouldn't race, but we'd both get in the Skippy and go to Mount Panorama, and we'd have a virtual picnic. It was very romantic. Pass made there by Sauer, moving up into 7th position. They're running down Scott Angelo, who races in 6th. Angelo lost touch with the guys he was racing with.
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys were those early pit stoppers. Allard, Crook, Gyros, Alpstead, Neptune, all of them, or Neptune came in earlier, excuse me. But a lot of those guys coming in early on lap 7. We've seen that strategy try to play out before. A lot of the rookies this year have done that. Reese Saunders, most notably in our first couple of races. It didn't play out for him. We'll have to see what happens for them, though.
As we look at this battle, I've been keeping one eye on the Yonk and Lucal battle. Lucal now has decided to sit in 2nd and save fuel. Boy, I love this shot. This guy's right on board with Walker. You can actually feel the elevation.
You really can. You drive this track in the sim, and whether or not you've got any sort of motion detectors on you, it does feel like you can feel the gravity pulling you down. They just capture it so well. The rise and fall in elevation through all of this section is just so remarkable. And this onboard shot, great angle from Dougie Beard, really gives you a sense of just how close those walls are. You can see it right there. Vincent Brim put a paper in between him and the wall. It's like you're running a super speedway almost with how close you're getting. A millimeter, meaning the difference between making a clean lap and ending your race.
I love this shot so much. I could just stay on it. You can see him losing a little touch now with the car ahead as he starts to get a little smaller in the windscreen. And now out onto the back straight. Scott Angelo, let's get a replay of this one. Car number 12 just happened. He is trying to Austin power his way back out onto the track. Kind of put it in the wall. There we go. Just caught the tail end of that one. We'll look at it one more time. He was having such an exciting race. He was racing so aggressively, and it came back to bite him. Whoa!
Yeah, it looks like he just over-rotated the car there a little bit. Really, really good play from Patrick Bennett not to run into the back of him. Ooh, that's going to be double damage on the wing. That is definitely going to affect him in the run down the hill. I would not be surprised if we see him pop into the pits on this next lap, try to get that front wing repaired.
I think he got more damage from the Austin power maneuver than he did from the original spin. Well, he races now in 9th spot with a pit stop still to be made. Back up front. They race in order. Watch for Lucal to be first out of pit lane. I got a hunch that he will stay behind the junkyard dog until Yunk goes in for his bone. Look for Lucal to be a little quicker as he's probably saving some fuel. About 3.2 seconds up on the guys that are chasing.
Yeah, Soup, I was just riding on board with Lucal there on my own cameras, and he is indeed saving, just doing a little bit of lifting and coasting down that long mountain straight. So you are 100% right in that assessment. Saving a little bit of fuel, he's going to be stationary in the box for just a little bit shorter time than Yonk, and I think that may be to his advantage. But as we've seen a lot of times, you've got to make sure you nail everything coming into that pit stop. Get your lines right, slow down at the right point. By no means a guaranteed strategy to put Lucal ahead of Yonk.
And it might be all academic anyway. Even if Lucal does get out first, it's not going to be by the greatest of margins where he's going to leave Yonk behind. You never know. We'll see how it plays out. That's why we're watching. Walker doing the exact same thing in 4th position.
He is. Just watching those cars come down the hill, I am always floored at how close they are able to get to those barriers. Just kind of hooting and hollering when I'm not on mic here, just being amazed they're not putting it in the wall.
The way I'm commentating today, go ahead and hoot and holler while I'm actually speaking. It would be an improvement, trust me. Let's drop back to 10th position. Sauer and Allstott. Sauer in the sky colored call. Allstott back there in the... I'm going to take a shot with these colors. Banana and licorice. How about that?
That works for me. I kind of like that, and now I desperately want a Laffy Taffy. But you can see him there. That's Alpstead just kind of doing the same thing like we've seen a lot of these guys do, keeping it nice and easy. But the leaders are coming into the pits here, Sue.
Well, this is what we talked about. The yellow and pink car of Yunk is going to be first. Lucal will follow him. We expect Lucal to get out first. Not by a large margin. And you certainly don't want to put yourself in the position of not being able to race at the end, so it might be a foolish attempt to try to short fill here.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a couple of times as well. Guys having to go into sort of uber fuel save mode and it not helping them. Neil Bamber looks like the one guy who's staying out right now, so he will get credit for leading a lap. And there you go, Soup. We mentioned it. That is Eric Lucal getting out of the box before Just Yonk. That's fuel saving coming into play. He's got to put just a little bit less into the tank, and that gives him the advantage.
Advantage of about 12 car lengths, if I can eyeball it. Yunk probably close enough in the tow and probably has the speed to run him down. But nevertheless, that's how it plays out. Behind him, Bream was able to get out ahead of Walker, so Ryan's attempt to get around him in pit lane didn't work. But I think Ryan is probably happy where he is right now. All right, Color Man, I'm going to put you to work. Let's jump to the final lap. If you're in second, where do you make the pass? Do you do it going into the chase? Do you do it between the chase and Murray? Do you do it from Murray to the finish line? Oh, that'd be rough.
I don't know if you can get that pass done between Murray and the start-finish, but I've got to be thinking in terms of gamesmanship. I want to get the pass made at the kink right before the chase, going right into that right-hand kink, turn 20 as it is. That's about where I want to do it. I do it there, get ahead, position the car in the middle of the track, deliberately slow down a little bit more at the apex of the chase, force the trailing car to back off, and that should be enough. There's not really enough draft to get a pass made into Murray without making it a full dive bomb. And so I think that's going to be the strategy here for these leaders. Last couple races, we've seen that play out. When's the last time you can get it, start to game it out? I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Junk is already starting to play that scenario through in his head, doing the reverse math and figuring out where he needs to be on that last lap.
Gonna jump you around. Let's go to car number 12 in 12th position. This is Scott Angelo. We saw him have his moment earlier. Looks like he has a fresh pair of wings. My 6-year-old niece's favorite driver is Edgar. She calls him Edgar Spaghetti. I go, who are you talking about? I figured out Edgar Sanchinelli. We don't get a chance to watch him race much. Car number 57. He's going to make a pass, I think, as he races behind Angelo. Come on, Edgar. Little Amber's watching. Let's get this done.
He's certainly trying. I thought he was going to make a move there over Skyline, which is a very, very gutsy place to try to make a call, but he's just going to stay tucked up behind here, taking a little bit more of a narrow line through those corners. He's not carrying quite as much speed as Angelo in front of him, but it does allow him to reduce the distance he's traveling, so it comes out in the wash. Although it looks like Angelo's got a little bit more of an advantage on the straights, able to get the power down earlier. Sanchinelli not close enough to really make a pass here.
Little Amber, if he was going to get it done, he was going to do it out of, well, I talk as he starts to close in on the chase. Let's stay with us a little bit. Let's take it all the way up into Murray. See, he gets up there, Edgar feeling it out. Sometimes some of the best racing, DJ, is back here from the drivers that don't quite have it figured out. You watch the drivers up front. The reason they're fast is because they're perfect. These guys are sometimes more exciting to watch because they leave a little bit out on the track right now as we look at Angelo and Sanchinelli go at it.
That's right, Soup, and I understand that on a deeply personal level as I'm not always the most consistent driver when I get behind the sim. But yeah, and that's what's one of the things that I really like watching races at Bathurst is that it's a place that you really need to have precision the entire way around the track. The third and the first sectors, there's so few corners, you have to get them absolutely perfectly to cover you off from the draft, and then you go up through that amazing mountain section, that twisty sector 2. Here he goes, coming on the pass. Can he get it done and stick it going into Griffiths? No! Scott Angelo says, that is my spot. You're not taking it.
All right, Amber, we gave him enough screen time. That was his opportunity. We'll check back in, see if he can get that done. Let's check back in our leader. I'm sorry, but we can report that Neil Bamber did come in, make that stop. He cycles out in 6th position now. And sure enough, Junk has ran down Lukel.
Lukel not helped there by the fact he decided to take a little bit of lawn maintenance at the Mount Panorama track. His left tire is going onto the grass a little bit. That let Junk close up ever so slightly. But it doesn't look like Junk's going to be in a massive hurry to make the pass. This is what we talked about. Very difficult to actually pull off a good move coming into Murray's. But I wouldn't be surprised if Junk tries to make a play going down the mountain straight into Griffiths Bend.
Cars are pretty much spread out right now. There are just 3 two-car battles. We're looking at one of them right now. The guys up front, Lukel and Junk. The other one is for 3rd position, Bream and Walker. We'll go check in on them a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, we've seen this before from Ryan Walker, where he just follows and follows and follows and follows. And sometimes there is no pass. So let's see. Ryan knows that sometimes it doesn't happen. I think, though, he's got a real chance at a podium spot here. I don't think he's going to do it until the final lap.
Yeah, no, he's not. You can see him there just trying to psych out Vincent Bream a little bit, positioning that car about right in the middle of his rear wing, trying to make him go defensive to make him into a mistake. Bream not having any of it, just keeping racing his line. Looked like Walker backed off a little bit coming down the mountain straight, so he very well has the speed, just waiting for that opportune time.
Director car number 5 in 16th position, Mackenzie Mann, still out there racing. Want to give a tip of the hat to that driver. He did a great job of letting the leaders go by. We didn't get it on screen, but nevertheless, nice job racing 1 lap down.
Always well appreciated by the leaders. He got out of the way on the mountain straight. and let everybody go by, as the worst place to catch lap traffic here at Mount Panorama is up in this mountain section. But we keep up with the leaders. Yonk just sitting there stalking Lugal. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to make a move down the Conrad Straight off of the hill, or if he just keeps waiting, keeps holding back to make a move on that last lap.
DJ, from a commentator's aspect here, point of view, without Anderson and Burns and Saunders here, it gives us a little opportunity to get through the field. I think we're going to have a pass for the lead here. No, look at this. Junkus just playing games right now as well. We talked about the Spa race where it was impossible for us to get back through, cover some of the other battles back farther back. It is refreshing that we're able to do that today.
It really is, and it's a testament to Anderson and Burns and just how closely matched, and Saunders, the three of them are, that we kind of have to focus on them. But a race like this, it allows us to show just how good the entire Formula Neagle field is all the way down. Good battles everywhere on track. None of these guys slouches by any stretch of the imagination.
And really, as far as attrition goes, when you take into account where we're racing, we've only lost 3 drivers. Lundberg, Mills, and Nylander. Everybody else is still out there racing. 15 cars on the lead lap, and Mackenzie Mann just went a lap down. But tip the hat to those guys.
Hey, these guys are doing better than a lot of their real-life counterparts whenever somebody races at Bathurst.
I think what we're seeing right now is a lot of what my fellow commentator Joe Peak likes to call reconnaissance racing. Just out there. Yonk is testing the field, see where he's going to make the pass. Lucal spent the entire first part of the race chasing Yonk, but that's not the case now. I think, we asked you earlier about that, DJ. I think that's my call also. Get the pass made into the chase and then play defense.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. And, Soup, I'm just kind of watching Youst Yonk here, and I have a theory to throw at you. I wonder if Yonk slightly underfueled the car. Their pit stop was only about a second apart, stationary in the box. So I think there's a chance that Yonk knew that Lucal was able to save fuel on that first round. Yonk underfueled the car to be able to stay close, and he's just right now sitting back, letting himself get to the fuel numbers that he needs to hit to be able to get to the end of the race.
Basically kind of doing the same thing that Lucal did in the first half that got him up in front. So he's sitting back there just saving to make sure he has enough to have something to play with when it's time to have fun. Hey, let's go to third position. Look what's happened. Ryan Walker has made the pass. Good for him.
He got it done, just taking advantage of a couple of little bobbles there by Vincent Bream, just kind of not having a perfect run through the mountain. Walker took advantage of it, moves himself up into third place. That's a podium position for him. But I think Vincent Bream is definitely not going to let him go quietly. You see how close he is there going into the chase. We'll have to see if he can keep the power down. Woo! Ryan Walker, getting very sideways there through that corner, but able to keep it nice and collected together.
Walker looking for a career best here, hoping to pick up his first podium. He had that pass made actually right in Forest Elbow, which is a strange place to get it done, as Bream let a little wide going into it, got that pass made. Completing that lap now, our leaders head on to the front straight. Let's go to them real quick and look at Yonk, a half car length back, a quarter car length back, just tucking in, and no plans to make the pass. I don't think we're going to see anything happen. Look at that ticker up there. When you see it get down into double digits, I think that's when the excitement's going to happen.
I think that's certainly right. Yonk not wanting to do any sort of pass, either fuel saving or just figuring out where and when he needs to be. Don't be surprised if you start to see him pull up very close on the Conrad Straight, only to back off a little bit. Whoo! Eric Lucal letting that tail end hang out a little bit there. This is Australia, Eric. It's not Tokyo Drift, so he's got to keep it in line.
Interesting enough, I saw Vincent Bream do the exact same thing that Yonk is doing. Happy to sit behind the guy he's chasing. Bream was happy in fourth. We'll stay on our leaders here as they head up to the S's. You never know. It's so hard to get away from this because your race can be over in a blink of an eye here. Lucal being very careful to keep the car between the walls.
Being very careful, and they're about to catch Mackenzie Mann right in front of them. This is going to slow Lucal down. This is no fault of Mackenzie's. There's nowhere for him to get out of the way, but Lucal able to pull it out to the outside there. Both he and Jonk able to get by. Very unfortunate, but a little bit lucky for Lucal that he did not catch him on the last lap, but that pulls Jonk right up the gearbox of Eric Lucal on the Conrad Straight.
And again, you can see that Jonk wants no part of making the pass. Just testing it out. So with that settling down, let's go back to car number 12. Check in on this for my niece Amber. And we'll look here at Scott Angelo begins to distance himself from Edgar Sanchinelli. Edgar tries, he might, got the pass. Oh no, there it is! Careful, Edgar, go left! I'll be your spotter. There you go.
Boy, that is the perfect definition of a commentator's curse there, Soup. But we're gonna check out a replay from Sanchinelli's perspective, or from Angelo's perspective. You can see it just, gets a little bit too much of the curve, catches it, tries to go wide, slams on the brakes. You can see those tires locking and unlocking as he applies the pressure. Great job to keep it all together, but still, I think he got just a slight bit of rear wing damage, potentially.
I always appreciate it when the drivers do the spin and they're able to keep the onboard camera focused on the car making the pass. Well done. Not only controlling the car, but great camera work as well from Angelo. We're going to go to third position now. Check in on Walker being, I use chase loosely, being followed by Vincent Bream.
Yeah, Vincent doing the exact same thing that Jost Jonk is doing up front, just kind of sitting back, waiting for Walker to do anything. We're ticking under just 3 minutes to go, so by my calculations, we're looking at 1, maybe 2 more laps here before the action really starts to heat up. But both Jonk and Bream just waiting for that opportunity.
The season finale. I've been doing a lot of Formula Neagle races. I do not believe Eric Lucal has a career win. I apologize if I am wrong. Jost Jonk got his first one just last round. Ryan Walker looking for his career best in third. And then the veteran Vincent Bream, who's been around. Vincent Bream, a former champion, a champion before GSRC was on the scene. Back when they were racing, and there's a Mackenzie Mann there, and a little bit of lifting from, well, what do you expect, yeah?
Yeah, you can obviously hear that lift, but you could see that reduction in speed that Jonk was going on right there. They come in ticking under about 1 minute and 40 to go. I believe this will give them the white flag here, so now it's now or never for Jost Jonk. He's going to have to make the decision if he wants to lead going up the hill or if he wants to try to save it as late as possible and make the move down the hill. I'm a betting man. I'm going to put my money down the hill, but we'll have to see.
We're going to focus our attention on the leaders here for this final lap. We'll try to duck back if there's a pass made back from between Walker and Bream. We'll see if we can catch that real quick, but I don't expect anything to happen until they finish the corner. With that said, just for any information about people worrying about fuel, Frederick Neptune had to make a second stop. Okay. Jost Jonk just happy where he is right now. Had the opportunity to make the pass into Griffin's Bend, chose not to do it.
Yeah, he's not going to be making it there, so doing exactly what we thought he was going to do, Soup. He's just got to keep it nice, cool, and collected as they climb up the hill here. Keep it off those incredibly close walls. Maybe try to force Lucal into a mistake, but the way Lucal's been driving, I don't think that's possible. Lucal has been very good through this section, being able to keep Jonk behind him.
I think the only hope that Lucal has leading going into the chase is that Jonk has a horrible time through Forest Elbow. Otherwise, I think that Lucal will be cliche, I hate to use it, but a sitting duck. Look at Young just pestering, just being annoying right now. They reach the apex of the mountain, now they start to come down.
Here they go. The other thing that may be interesting defensively, Lucal may try to force Yunk to make the pass early so he can tuck back in behind, sort of do a 1-2 punch there. That may be something he's thinking about trying to do, but they're working their way down the hill, getting very close to Forest Elbow, making it onto the straight. Here we go.
Young with a great run. He is going to get it early. This might be an opportunity for Lucal to tuck back in. Boy, he tries to tuck back in. He doesn't. He gets back in as soon as he can, but he's lost the momentum. Now he's going to have to get it forced. Look, he's coming. He's a half car length back. Now comes the left-hander that is the chase. Lucal goes to the outside, so he's going to get a good exit through here. Going right as Young, he gets the right sides on the grass. 1 corner to go. It is the 90 degree of Murray. Moving to the outside is Lucal. There are going to be Cialis bathtubs going into the final corner. The momentum will go to the car on the outside. They touch. They spin. They're both in the wall. Lucal's car is moving. He's trying to get it going. I don't know if he's going to get it going before. There goes the winner. It's going to be Vincent Bream as he goes around.
Oh my goodness gracious, that is Vincent Bream, Ryan Walker, and now that's a drag race for the 3rd place. Who got it?
Yus Young picks up 3rd. Ryan Walker had the 3rd position, lost it on the back straight. Vincent Bream first to the chase and was able to get around the cars that were parked. Bream gets the win. Before we go to break, let's go ahead and take a look. Only on ABL.
This was absolutely incredible to see. Just heartbreaking for both of these guys. There you see, there's the contact. Young gets up and over the nose of Eric Lucal. Lucal beached himself, I think. That's what happened there. And so that allows for them to get by through. Young able to keep going. You see him limping across the line, trying to get ahead there. He finally gets it up to speed and crosses by a nose in front of Ricardo Lard.
Indeed, I kept thinking that Luca would get the car going. He had time to roll it across the line before Bream got there. That was not the case, as he was indeed beached. Oh, that was exciting. Congratulations to long time ago champion Vincent Bream, who picks up the win here in the season finale of season 22. Oh, mama, cover my eyes. I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. We're going to go to break. Don't go far. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate for the season. Back in a few. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's final round coverage of the Formula Neagle Season 22 Championship, and oh boy, did they put on a show. Congratulations to former champion. I believe he is a Season 5 champion. I'll have to check my records, Vincent Bream. He is a stupid dog, and he gets some points for his championship team as well. He gets the win as he was able to pass Ryan Walker going into the chase and then hold him off. That was a pass for third position. Why are we so excited? Because Yushunk, the junkyard dog, and Ricardo Lard got to, it was Yushunk, and of course it would have been, who was he chasing with? Eric Lukel got together, and they in Murray's corner, and Yunk will have to settle for third position, and well down the order was Lukel. Finish this up, Soup. Ricardo Lard gets fourth, Neil Bamber in fifth, Christopher Garros, Christopher Crook in seventh position, Ludic Sauer, Kai Alstad in ninth, rounding out your top 10, Patrick Bennett.
Edgar Sanchinelli able to come home in 11th, Scott Angelo in 12th, Matt Tempest bringing the car home in 13th, and we talked about him, Eric Lukel led for part of the race, was second for most of it, and suffered heartbreak at that final corner. He is classified as 14th and one lap down.
That's not fair. He was just like 12 feet away from the finish line. One lap down. Okay.
I think we'll count that as 0.2 laps down. But Frederick Neptune, 2 laps down in 15th. Mackenzie Mann, 2 laps down in 16th. And then the folks that did not finish or did not start, that's Eric Lundberg, Kevin Mills, Timmy Nylander, Wojciech Potacek, and to round out the field, classified as 21st, is Tom Depka. But, Soup, you are with our winner of the day, Vincent Bream.
Hello, guys.
Vincent, it has been a long time. Former champ, good to have you back in the winner's circle. I bet you're a bit surprised.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah, I was laughing my ass off when I saw those two standing there. Like, what the fuck just happened?
You made the pass for what basically was a pass for the win going into the chase. Is that both the DJ and I in the booth thought that was the move to make, is to sit in second and make the pass into the chase, then play defense?
Well, yeah, I made a couple of mistakes a few laps before, so Ryan was able to pass me, and then I thought, well, I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty and wait till the end, and then go for the pass. And yeah, it was a pass for the win at the end.
You know, it's been a long time since you got a victory. Clearly, the problem is you don't do well when your teammate races with you.
Well, that's mainly because he's freaking fast.
Well, man, congratulations to finish out season 22 with a win. It was great to see you race. You put on a great show. Congratulations, and we'll see you next season.
Thank you very much. See you next season, guys.
There goes one half of Two Stupid Dogs, as not only does Vincent Bream gets the win today, but he also picks up the team championship as well. And we apologize for the industrial state language. We have a lot of European drivers over here. Okay, DJ, who you got?
I've got Ryan Walker, the other beneficiary of that last lap tangle up top. Ryan, I got to imagine you were hooting and hollering coming across the line there.
Yeah, pretty much. Me and Vincent was pretty much battling for the final step on the podium, because it just looked like and Eric just basically checked out. And then when Vincent got by me in the last lap, I thought, that's it, I'll just set up for fourth and not try anything silly. And then all of a sudden, both of us come round the final corner, and we were like, what's going on? So I was like, holy cow.
We were the exact same way. And I wanted to ask you about that sort of strategy on the last lap. Was there any way to sort of game out any of those closing positions in terms of, can I get this done right? How can I make this work? Or was it really just sort of a situation of, well, he's going to get past crap?
Well, I thought, Vincent was behind me, and I thought I need to try and get a good exit onto the straight. And then Vincent, he still closed the gap on me. So I thought, when he closed right up on me, I didn't want to do anything silly like weave or block or anything like that, because I'm not that sort of driver. So I thought, if he gets a run of me, he gets a run of me. I'll leave him some room. I mean, fourth position would have been nice, and it's still a nice place to finish in. But to finish in second place, It's just I'm still in shock.
I mean, it's a well-deserved one. You drove a heck of a race. Ryan, we're real happy for you. Anybody you need to thank before we let you go?
First of all, the people behind the scenes at ABL that put on the show, and also to you guys for putting on the broadcast. I look forward to watching it back, that's for sure.
Well, congratulations, Ryan, once again. Amazing to see you. And Soup, I believe you are with Ricardo Lard.
Our pole sitter who had visions of picking up the win. Ricard, it went south on you, and then you couldn't get back in the hunt.
Well, I'm not going to say the F word, but I should have learned a thing or two at Spa, but I didn't apparently. But because at Spa, I had cold tires on lap 1 and went rallycross, and the same thing happened today. Only it went a little bit worse today. So, well, I'm happy with P4, honestly. And I was hoping that something will happen up there because I was close and I had the pace today. I've actually been practicing this week, but I haven't done any races. So I didn't figure out that the tires would be so cold. And I pushed a little bit too hard. But as we say, S happens. But I'm all good. I came in late in the season, so I'm happy with the results.
You know, your spin happened earlier enough that DJ and I had hopes that maybe as the pole sitter, you might be able to run those guys down, but you really didn't have a partner really to race with for much of your time.
No, I figured to go. I had decent pace, so I thought that I could catch those guys on my own if I made an early pit stop and get clean traffic. But it didn't really pay out as well. I was down to 4.9 seconds before the crash happened, so I needed a few more laps actually. But well, it happens. It was a good race. I had fun. I'm gonna take a shower. I pushed so hard.
We'll get you out of here on this one. iRacing shows you as from Scandinavia. What part of Scandinavia, which country are you actually hailing from?
I'm from Sweden.
Sweet. Okay, congratulations. Good luck. And hopefully, what's the schedule? Maybe see you next season? Is that a plan? Are you back with us?
Yeah, I've been talking to Eero, and maybe the complete team Bushwing Yellow will be back next season. I asked him to race tonight, but he's going to watch NFL, he said, so I don't know what's that about, but I guess you guys know.
Yeah, bring those guys back. Good to see those cars back. Okay, good luck, and we'll see you down the road, and hopefully bring that multi-time champion with you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there you have it. Well, that's bad news, DJ, for a lot of the guys looking for season 23. The fact that the Rolling Estonian Aero Numb might be coming back. Anyway, it was great. The competition is always good. DJ, usually we roll to the thank you here, but I think since this is the final race of the season, let's take a quick moment. I had a fun time commentating with you. It was welcome to the ABL Formula Neagle. Good season, good series, huh?
Oh, it's a great series. Anytime you get to see these cars out on track, it's always fun. And Soup, it is an absolute pleasure to call it with you. This has been a great season of ABL, and I think 2021 is just going to continue on, especially if we get Aero Numb to see if he can take anything to Lee Anderson next season.
Indeed. We have been our pleasure to cover the absolute beginners for so many seasons. We'd like to thank them for contracting with GSRC, and it's our pleasure to broadcast it. Thanks to the company's equipment and software you see on the screen now that we use to stream cyberspace into your place. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that a unique flavor and feel, that's courtesy of June Lalonde. See the screen for contact information. On screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. All right, we are done with Formula Neagle Season 22. Check at globalsimracingchannel.com for updates on when we'll be back. If we are asked, we will certainly be back to bring you all the action for Season 23, and we expect to do so. If you'd like more information about GSRC, check us out on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And while you're here, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting the subscribe button. If you're looking for a unique gift, don't forget to check out our store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. A lot of good stuff there. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that'd be DJ, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was Vincent Bream who indeed picked up a victory here and the season finale at Bathurst. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.